You're watching the Go Crying to Walk In podcast. I'm Chef Cholo, and you already know. As usual, we are powered by Hospitality News Magazine and Hospitality News Magazine Online. If you're looking to put your finger on the pulse of everything hospitality, events, restaurant openings, equipment, new equipment listings, look no further than Hospitality News and Hospitality News Online. Today's guests are our second installment of the father and son segment here on the Chef Cholo Go Crying the Walk In podcast. Some people that are very close to me, my brother Lenny and his son Lenny. Are we going to say Lenny Jr. or are we just going to go, is it a junior? You're not a junior.
No, not a junior. Not a junior.
No.
How many times do you say little Lenny, though?
I'd rather Lenny Jr. than Little Lenny.
Little Lenny's not good.
No, not good.
My dad was Little Roy. He was, and he was not a little guy. Little Roy. Like, yeah, Little Roy. My dad hated his name, though. Hated it.
Roy.
He said Roy was always like a shortening of somebody else's name. Like it was Leroy.
Yeah.
No one called him Roy. They called him Ray. No one believed his name was Roy. They didn't get that name too well. So I'm going to do a little history for a minute. I'm going to talk about the first time me and my man, Lenny Senior, Big Lenny, because we're going to go Big Lenny, Little Lenny.
All right, that's fine.
That's not a problem.
That works.
All right, I'm going to go Junior. All right, you're right.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. So I was fresh out of college. I was working for a hotel here in Long Island, and the executive chef, John Erickson, he was like, we're going to do the food show. And I was like, what is the food show? And I didn't know anything about that. Listen, I went to the CIA. I had seen things like that, but it was never in my purview. I never thought it was something that I would be into. And he said, the Javits show is going to be in October. We're going to do the Javits show. And some guys are going to work with us, and boom. So we were going to. I guess I was responsible for hot food presented cold. I remember it was like, it was platters, and we will, it was weird. It was very strange, but we did it. So I had met Lenny. I met you like while we were doing the planning, but the day of, you got to go in there to the Javits Center. You got to bring your own shit in there. Yep. And you're now on the carpet, sitting there, putting stuff together. Your platters and stuff. And it was me, you, and Joe Gaffoli.
Yep.
The three of us are sitting there. And there's these Canadian guys, Frenchmen, but they were from some hotel in Canada. And they're just freely smoking cigarettes, like right there, putting them out on the carpet. And I was I was very I wanted to make an impression on everybody when I was young. And your father, to me, was somebody I needed to make an impression on. I don't know why. But I looked to him, and I was like, guys respect him. People are coming around. The guys that I'm looking up to, John Erickson, Tommy LaFaso, it's Lenny. So I figured I got to be in line. So the guy puts a cigarette on the carpet, and I don't know why. I start a fight with the guy. I ask him about no, I don't think the guy even spoke English.
No.
They were like real Frenchmen from Quebec or something, whatever, some hotel up there. And we almost get into a brawl, right? Now, you tell that story 100 times on the show floor. The show floor.
It was wild. We had Carmine with us, the bread guy.
Carmine was with us that day?
Yes, he was. We had a beautiful display.
No, you guys did something different.
I mean, we went all out every year.
But you were working with us, or you were
I was doing pastry. No, I was doing pastry for Garden City Hotel.
But that at the show, Garden City had the table, or John had the table?
No,
what were we doing?
It was Garden City Hotel's table.
So we both had a table?
Yeah.
Royce had a table, and Garden City had a table.
There was a couple tables there. And
it was hard for me to remember the whole thing.
The whole thing is we had to get up 4:30 in the morning and truck all our stuff in there.
Tony made the rocket ship out of butter?
Yep.
What was it?
Yep.
Was that the rocket? No, the space shuttle. Was that the space shuttle?
It was the space shuttle. Yep.
This
Out
guy,
of tallow,
Tony,
yep.
out of tallow. Yeah, butter, whatever. Tallow, wax.
Yeah, it was.
He was
that
like,
show was
and
big.
It was great, right? But they don't do that no more, right?
No.
That food show's gone.
No.
Have you done
like
that, Lenny?
anymore.
Have you done that?
We did a couple of shows at the Javits with the cold food
Like
same
that?
situation. Yeah, it sits out for like 3 days, and you got like
Weird.
salmon and aspic.
If you go there on, I guess we set it up on like Saturday. If you go there on Monday, the whole room smells so bad.
It's bad.
It smelled so bad.
Every time.
Shit's curling up.
Terrible.
That used to look good yesterday.
We had a great time at Garden City Hotel, right?
All right, so then I go to Garden City Hotel. Now, again, hotels don't even run like this anymore. Department after department. First of all, they had hair cutters. They had everybody was working
you
there.
needed.
You
Anything.
come in, you get your uniform, you stand online. The girl, hey, how you doing, Chevy?
Yep.
Cafeteria, kid work in the cafeteria. You could get a hamburger, you could get a grilled cheese sandwich, you get whatever you want in the cafeteria, or you can get a chafing dish.
Great job. I went there right out of college. I graduated college on a Wednesday. I started working
Right
there on
there.
Thursday. The next day.
So I knew that Lenny and Carmine were down in the bake shop. So, I worked in banquet. I didn't always have a chance to go down there. But the one day I get a chance to go down there and visit these guys, well, let me tell you, I never seen more production in my entire life. And
Everything.
there
made
wasn't a
in-house.
piece of bread we bought there.
No,
Sliced bread for sandwiches,
white
nothing.
bread, rye bread, every roll.
Hot dog rolls.
Hamburger rolls, brioche,
Dominic, in my life, I never seen a fresh hot dog roll until I worked at the Garden
Yeah.
City Hotel.
croissants.
I thought they came out of a bag.
No,
I thought they came out of a plastic bag.
no.
I didn't know that people made them.
Croissants, brioche, every muffin, room service,
Everything.
Sunday
And
brunch,
It was a pastry shop and a bakery.
divided in half. Yep.
Who was the pastry guy at the time?
There was a couple. There was
Haitian guy?
Jeff Wright. There was Dominique, the Haitian
Dominique.
guy.
Yeah, Haitian guy. yeah.
Wendy Udolph. There was another girl
Yeah,
there.
Wendy.
There was a whole crew. They went through a couple.
But it was you
couple-
and Carmine on the
We were
bread
there.
side.
I was there 7 years.
Really?
7 years. Yeah,
I only made it a
Had a-
couple years.
I had a great time. Yeah, it was good.
Charlie Hammond fired me from there.
Did he?
Yeah, they came in. They were like, "You have to cut some cooks." I was like, I definitely didn't belong to be a sous
Yeah.
chef at that age. I think I was like 27. They're like, "Yeah, you're gonna run the watercolors." I was like, "Really?" I guess because nobody else could get anybody to do anything. They were all just physically scared of me or something at the time. So they were going, "Okay, Palmer will work. They'll get him to do whatever they got to do." And so Hammond comes to me, and goes, "Yeah, you're gonna have to cut some labor." And I was like, "Why?" I was like, "You see what we're doing back there?" I thought we were doing everything. He's like, "Yeah, you gotta help with the labor." I was like, "Nah, we can't do that." I looked at the chef. I was like, "We're not gonna fire anybody." He's like, "No." I came in the next day. They were like, "Yeah, you're
You're
gonna
out.
go."
You're out. They were making all their money off G Club and Club G. They kept switching names. They made a
Club
lot
was
of.
great, right?
They made a lot of money off that club.
Well, what was great, young Lenny, Lenny Jr., is that the cocktail waitresses would be in there. Cocktail waitresses, they dress very scantily, sir. But as chefs, I don't have to tell you, like we're fucking making the show, bro. We're like we got the pans, we got stuff on our jackets. You know what I mean? So they're watching. I turn around and be like, "Wow, these chicks are like watching us." You know what I mean? It was real. It felt cool. Man.
Yeah, it was a great job.
That club
Great.
was hot.
Yeah.
I remember the restaurant closes, and Mike Tyson was fighting. Okay, and I don't know, one of these guys comes in, one of these guy. I don't know who the guy was. We were closed. We were like in the locker room. GM comes down. We gotta reopen.
Yeah.
So and so's here to watch the fight. We gotta feed him. I was like, all right, cool. Went back upstairs, opened the restaurant. Howard Stern, you remember that?
Yeah, he stayed up there. He did a Super Bowl party from up there.
Every
we
year
made
they
him
had the
a
Super Bowl.
whole breast cake.
I was gonna.
We made that.
But
yeah,
it was
sheet
work.
cake.
The booby cake.
Booby
It had a
cake.
badge on it too. Ralph,
Morocco. Yeah.
Ralph pushed the marzipan through the china cap. It was like Play-Doh Fun Factory. You remember that, right?
Oh yeah.
He pushed it through the china cap and made it look like hair. So it was me, Ralph Faracco, and somebody else, like with Charlie Hammond, got to bring the cake because we brought it upstairs. Hey, Howard, you want to meet Howard? We got the cake. So, like, I don't know what was going on in the room. Like, one of the guys comes to the door. We're like, hey, we got the cake. Can we give it to
Get in.
Howard? They're
Can we
like, give
get
us the
in?
cake. We're like, no,
Yeah.
we want to give it to Howard.
Yeah.
So, like, hold on. The door closes again. The door wings open. Howard Stern standing there. He goes, hey, the pussy cake. Awesome. And he walks away. I looked at Ralph. I'm like, that's
it? Yeah.
Can we go in? The door closes.
A lot of celebrities stayed there. A lot of whoever was at Westbury Music Fair, Islanders would always stay there.
They did the
had
Lifestyles
all-
of the Rich and Famous there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember that?
Robin Leach.
Robin
Yeah.
Leach.
Yeah, he was there. A lot of celebrities.
The owners lived in there.
Muhammad Ali was there.
Muhammad Ali. Remember
Yeah.
the owners? They lived in the penthouse.
Yes. Yeah.
So the
Nope.
so the food and beverage director would come to me and the other sous chef every day. Okay, gentlemen, it was like 4 o'clock. It was time for them to eat. Another potential job-ending situation.
Yeah.
She would order 17 things to be put in like a salad bar. You'd set up the cart, the whole room service cart. Room service waiter. Everybody's fucking stressing out. The thing would go up. 2 hours later, come down untouched. No, not one piece of broccoli, not one pea, nothing. They probably went out to eat. I don't even know what.
Yeah.
They didn't eat that.
No,
They
definitely
didn't
not.
eat that.
Definitely not.
Remember the driver, Al Bailey?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, it
that
was his son.
An old Lincoln. Yeah, an old.
The guy
Yeah.
would go porgy fishing with his friends. come back. You know, your porgy's like this big, right? You come back with like, I don't know, 3 coolers full of porgies. Yeah, Mr. Nelkin wants you guys to clean the fish. Be like, Mr. Nelkin's not doing this.
No way.
But you couldn't do nothing about it.
Nope.
It's Al Bailey.
Yeah.
Al Bailey Cafeteria, right?
They came around a lot. Nelkins would come around, come down to the bake shop.
The guy
crumb
was in
cake.
there.
They wanted
the
something.
guy was in there, man. It was different, you know.
Yeah.
And then that started to change. Hotels, you know, they get rid of the salon, they get rid of the laundry, they get rid of the bake shop, they get rid of the pastry chef.
They started farming out the wedding cakes first, and then they started getting less bread, buying the bread, and
hot dog rolls out of the bag.
yeah, Wonder Bread.
Not good, not
And
good.
the hours were getting crazy, and then I had opportunity in Manhattan, Lehman Brothers, and that was the way to go.
What's that like, doing that, like working at a corporate?
It was great. It was Monday through Friday compared to 7 days a week at the hotel.
Riding the train like a regular dude.
Yeah, it was an early train, 4:30 in the morning, working downtown, World Trade Center, and it was a great opportunity for me. I was there 20 years with them. I got certified by the American Culinary Federation, traveled every year. We would go to all the conventions for either World Pastry Forum, or I would take them, unfortunately, my family vacation was always American Culinary Federation.
My dad did that to us, too.
And
we went to the tape convention.
Tape?
Tape. Yeah, my
Duct tape?
dad sold tape.
duct tape, at least, yeah.
Well, the company was called Tuck
Tape.
Tuck
but
tape.
duct tape,
Tape.
was obviously their shining
Right.
star.
Sponsor.
Yeah, like my dad, like everybody would be so happy. Like the family that got to have us, like if we were going to like say my aunt's for Easter, they would make sure that the Palmers would be invited because what would Dad come?
A case of tape.
Case of duct tape.
Oh, yeah.
Who doesn't want a case of duct tape?
You always use that.
12
Fix them.
rolls.
Beautiful.
He'd be like, he put the tape down. Oh, Roy, thank you. We're on our last roll.
Perfect timing.
Always. Everyone's always on the last
We're on
roll.
our last roll of duct tape.
But it was great. We traveled everywhere, right? Arizona, Florida, Tennessee,
A lot of good trips.
Vegas.
You
And
always knew you were going to be a chef?
No, we just found pictures of him working with Jacques Torres. He's like 15. And he just did a dinner last week with Jacques Torres, and he told him. He's like 10 years ago.
Did you show him the picture?
I didn't
I
have the
have it.
picture on me. I didn't know he was
have
going to
it.
be there. And I walked into it and I'm like, I have a picture of us when I was like 12. I don't think I said 12.
12 or 13,
The
yeah.
two of us at the World Pastry Forum in Arizona. He's like, unbelievable. Send it to me. So I still got to share it to him. But
You got to share it with him.
I
He's going to
know.
love that.
I know.
yeah.
It's cool.
But it was
Special
a
guy.
great job.
We got
I
an
had-
updated one,
I had
yeah.
no food costs there. We fed the top 100 executives for Lehman Brothers.
So was it like lunches and
Lunch
like
and private
parties?
dinners. It was all private rooms. These guys made billions, not millions. They made billions, investing money, and they wanted the best food. They didn't want to hear anything.
Was that common practice at companies like that back
There was
then?
a couple. Yeah, there was a couple big insurance companies, couple investment banking firms had their own private dining rooms. I was
Now,
very lucky with that
You
job.
worked for a food service company,
No.
or you worked directly
Worked
for Shearson?
well, it started
Lehman.
out Shearson, Lehman, American Express.
Okay.
Then it was Shearson, Lehman, and then it was just for the last 15 years. It was like just Lehman Brothers.
Just Lehman Brothers.
Great investment banking firm, tremendous, and they had presidents from every company coming, investing billions or
Wow.
borrowing billions.
So it's exciting.
All little private rooms.
Wow.
The president would be on the phone with some of them. They'd sweep for bugs every day.
And you were like pastry or baking? at that
executive
point?
pastry chef.
Executive pastry chef. And they
I
had an
a
executive
small-
chef.
Oh yeah, a whole crew.
Like how many
A
people
whole
would
crew.
they feed a week or a day? Let's say
On a day, they would come for breakfast. Some of these guys would come. They had a boardroom.
they would come that early.
Yeah, they come with car service. They get 4 newspapers lined up
Fresh
at a big table.
croissants.
Fresh croissants, muffins every day, looking out
Everything.
over the East River, and they wouldn't even talk to each other.
The croissant game is
yeah.
big now on Instagram.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
watch Instagram?
Yeah. Sure.
You got time for that?
Sometimes.
We're gonna get to you.
Squeeze
We're gonna
that
get
in.
to you.
Okay.
So you're working there, and obviously you're there for one of the worst parts of our history here in New York. You're there on 9/11. You go to work
9/11.
that day?
Yeah, I was there the night before. I did a big demo for the ACF.
I remember.
Chocolate and candy. I think you came to see that demo. You were a kid. Had about 100 people there.
It was a
Had-
huge demo, yeah.
I had some of my people from Manhattan and New Jersey come that I
Came
worked
out.
with. Lehman Brothers came. My assistant came to help me. Great demo. Go to work that day, working regular day, and
Fucking plane flies into the
yeah.
building.
And then the waitresses come over and said, "There's a plane at the right inside the window across the street." So I was in Three World Financial Center.
We got to go.
I didn't panic. Didn't panic. I thought it was like air traffic controllers were. I thought there was a problem.
Nobody knew what it could have been. I was at the dentist.
There were a lot of people in the kitchen, a lot of the Jamaican guys. We had great cooks there. All of a
Right.
sudden, they were just gone. gone.
They
And
smelt it. They knew.
I was trying to make a call. I was trying to call my house, call my
Couldn't make
wife.
calls or
Couldn't get
anything.
out. Got a hold of my sister in New Jersey. I'm like, just tell Lori that I got out, that I'm here, that it's not my building. It's across the street. I'm watching it.
Not yet.
While I was on the phone, the other plane came.
Not yet.
And I thought he was going to go between our two buildings, and he just turned at the last second.
You
and
seen
went.
it?
Seen it. Watched it from across, like 30,
Looking out the
30,
window.
40 feet away. Out the window.
Not downstairs yet.
No.
Not outside yet.
No. And then I panicked. I'm like, we got to get out. Went back to the kitchen. There was nobody there. It was me, executive chef, and the sous chef. 3 of us left.
How much time goes by, you think, in this whole, what are we talking about? 10 minutes?
Yeah, 10, 15 minutes.
10, 15
and
minutes.
I just made a whole bunch of chocolate cakes, devil's food cakes. I'm like, let me take the cakes out. I'm going to put them in the refrigerator.
You did not.
The executive chef said, I'm going to lock the walk-in. He locked the walk-in.
Regular shit chefs do. We're going to just follow
like-
our protocol.
All right, let's go get changed. 'Cause
And you went back to the locker room
They
to
make
get
an announcement. It's emergency across the street. It's not this building. Don't worry. But we heard that before.
That's how they were handling it.
Yeah. And we decided, the 3 of us, to go to the 25th floor to change because I didn't want to take Long Island Railroad home in my chef jacket.
Well, no, you can't have the shoes on
No,
either.
I don't want to go home in my uniform.
I remember working in Manhattan. A younger chef would get on the train at 2 o'clock in the morning, and nobody would want to sit next to him. And the train ride would go, and I'd scooch over. I go, "Hey man, where you working, brother?" He's like, I'm Chris. I'm working at Red Eye Grill." "Oh yeah, how's it going, man? You went to CA?" "Oh yeah, I went to CA." "Brother, let me give you a little tip. You got to carry clothes to work, especially shoes. You can't come on here with the clothes on." He goes, "What do you mean?" I go, "Bro, you stink. You don't know you smell.
Something. Yeah, something.
It's the shoes. I can never let my chef shoes touch my car.
No,
Ever.
never.
So there. So you went to get changed.
Got changed in
Protocol.
the locker room, 25th floor. First building starts to come down, hits my building, takes out a whole cafeteria on the 5th floor.
On the
Takes
5th
out-
floor.
On the
And
5th
you were on the
floor,
25th
25.
floor.
I was on 25. Someone yelling, "Get out of the building." The 3 of us take the elevator down. Only ones in the
It
elevator.
was 25 floors.
Come down into the basement. I was in that building 20 years. I was never in the
You
basement.
didn't even know there was a basement.
Didn't know there was a basement. Come out, total darkness, in black. I was the last one hanging on the back of the sous chef's jacket,
Wow.
and we saw this little tunnel, dark, and there was a guy with a little flashlight. He was our engineer. He used to set up our kitchen.
Crazy.
With a little flashlight.
He's like,
this
"Hey,
way,
Lenny, over
this
here."
way. And we got out, and then we saw
And you're in the street now.
in the
Forget
street.
about it.
Dark, though. It was dark, and there was firemen everywhere.
By
And
the
cops-
time you get out there, the firemen
building
are
was
already
down.
on the scene.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just yelling, "Run,
Now-
run."
Now, as a chef, we have books. I mean, yeah, we don't even need books anymore because we have it. We have everything right here. But I have a set of books that I carried with me from job to job. But as a pastry chef, you have formulas, you have recipes.
Left a lot of stuff in there. I was
had
able
to
to
leave-
get some of it back, believe it or not.
How?
I went to work. Our executives never really missed a beat. Within a week, they were at Citigroup. We're using their executive dining. These guys still make money. They didn't care.
They want to drop in the bowl.
They got us a police escort. I came with another guy, and I got to go back into the bake shop with the police to get some of my books.
So days after, building's
over
still
a week.
there. Over a week,
Yeah.
building is now.
Bake shop had a crack through the floor where
You
I
went
was.
back in the building.
Yeah.
How'd you get up
Yeah.
and down, like staircases?
There had elevators running, police everywhere.
You went to the bake
and I
shop.
had a little camera, and I remember a cop yelling at me. He's like, "There's a crime scene. Don't take pictures.
Don't take pictures.
Don't take pictures." Yeah.
Wow.
So I was able to get a couple of books out that I really wanted. Got a couple things from some other people, and then they took us right out.
Amazing
Luckily,
story, man.
luckily.
Hey, it's your boy Chef Cholo from the Go Crying to Walk In podcast. And if you're like me, you yearn for that old school relationship between purveyors and chefs. Nowadays, they got me going on a website, looking up my own orders, placing my own orders. I don't even know if the thing's going to get delivered the next day. I got nobody to talk to. If you're looking for that old school service with aggressive pricing, look no further than American Food Connection. What you do is you call the number at the bottom of the screen, you ask for Danny, and you get it straight. You already know.
So then right after that, you start teaching.
Yeah, I'm like, that's it.
Fuck this.
Yeah, I
Kid
worked.
show. Kid
Yeah,
show.
I did Chelsea Piers.
Kid show.
I was doing Culinary Academy. I worked at Culinary Academy, and now I'm teaching at Nassau Boces.
Those are some really
It's where I
cool
started.
guys. But those guys were great. The guys at Culinary Academy
Yeah,
Michael
it was great.
and-
Michael Levitt and Harold.
and Harold, yeah.
Great setup. It was a great school.
It really was.
And
I
just
got a chance to
these kids.
substitute once. You remember that
Did you?
day?
No, I don't remember.
You were
that.
there that day.
I don't remember that.
And one of the guys told me to put my hat on, and that was the end of that.
Yeah, very professional.
I never wore
Yeah.
a hat.
No,
You wear a hat, man?
he doesn't wear a hat.
My hair's too fucking cool.
Yeah.
I mean, now I'm losing my hair, but my hair,
Worse,
I always...
worse than the hat though. When I'm in the plant, I gotta wear a hairnet. Nobody looks good in a hairnet.
It's not. Unless you're like from the Beastie Boys. They're
maybe,
cool. They were
maybe,
cool with
yeah.
hairnets. So like a lot of Cholo guys. They're cool. Yeah. I probably could pull off a hairnet, right?
Yeah,
Chef
I
Cholo?
think so. I think so.
Right? But I would have to wear a beard in that too.
Yeah,
And
for
that's
sure.
embarrassing.
Yeah, that's rough.
It's kind of sissyish.
Teaching's the way to go for me. I started at Nassau Boces while I was in high school. Went there for 2 years.
You're
And
it
he
too.
went to Nassau
You too,
Boces.
right? I'm a
Yeah.
graduate of Boces.
Murphy,
too.
Murphy, Magro, great guys.
Greatest guy, man. Greatest. Two greatest guys. I saw Paul. You saw
Yeah,
him. You
saw
were
him
there,
at the
yeah.
meeting,
Great. Two greatest guys.
and that's where he started.
Spoke
Yeah.
to Murphy today.
You actually graduated and then like did some teaching before you?
No,
you
no,
went
no.
right. You went to what school did you go to?
Delhi.
right?
Yep.
Great program over there.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
great.
And you got to live a real college life too. Fraternities, chicks,
Yep.
things like that, right?
4 years. Good time.
4 years.
Yeah, 4 years.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I didn't-
CIA banged us right out. It was like
2
18
years.
months.
Next.
See you later.
Yeah.
Hurry up.
Yeah.
Don't make sure you got your hat on. I got thrown out of class. Corky Clark, he just died recently. He was
Yes.
a big
Yeah.
chef from there.
Saw that.
Yeah.
He just passed
Sad.
recently. God rest his soul. I came back from dinner. You know, you'd have like 30 seconds to eat your meal because you had to come back and get critiqued on service, which was never pleasant.
No.
So it was like we had to wolf the food down and run right back and clean the kitchen. Then, like I said, sit down for the beating. And I left my fucking hat on the table. I didn't even know. Like I ran in there. I wasn't trying to be a wise guy. And I was like sweeping, and he's standing behind me. He's like, "Boy," he gave me that boy talk.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You got to go." He's like, "Threw me out." And I had seen 3 guys before me get thrown out of class, and I was like, "You know what? I'm not leaving. I paid my tuition. I know that he can't make me leave. I know what he's trying to do, but I'm not going to go." He followed me around the room. He was like talking in my ear. I looked at him. I said, "Chef, whatever you want to do to me is cool, but I'm not. I'm just not leaving." I'm like, "I'm that guy. I'm not going to go." Okay, he walked away. You know what I mean? He respected it. He didn't give me a break the rest of the time. But we were in Augie's months later. They had a bar on campus, and I'm sitting there, and I had I was always into motorcycles. I was always into that look. I had this biker jacket on. It was actually a policeman, New York City police jacket that you could buy like from the uniform store. It was heavy duty leather. In walks Corky Clark to the Augie's. He's going to sit down for a beer. 2 things crazy. He sits down at the bar. He orders a beer. He puts a stack of silver dollars, and that's what he's going to pay with. Who the fuck carries around a stack of silver dollars? That's what he paid with. This is a true story. He looks over at me, and he, with his fingers, he rubs my leather jacket. He rode a motorcycle. He goes, "Nice leather, boy," like that. And I was like, "Hey, chef." Now I start gushing, right?
You remember me?
Yeah.
No.
He guzzled the beer and walked out of the bar. He didn't want,
No part. Yeah.
yeah, he wanted to be left alone, and I wasn't going to leave him alone.
Right. He
That
knew.
was it. He
That
put
was
his
it.
fucking silver dollars down, and he was that silver. Who the fuck carries around
Yeah.
silver dollars? I never heard of that. So, not only have you done all these beautiful things, but you brought this incredible human into the world. He goes to Boces. He goes to cooking school. You come right out of cooking school. You start working at LOLA right away.
No, so there was a few other restaurants. I kind of bounced around on Long Island. I was in Bayville. I was out east. We were kind of jumping
What'd you do
around.
in Bayville?
Crescent Beach Club.
Oh yeah.
I was at the restaurant Ocean there.
Well, I was there for the first week with
Sure.
Richard.
League.
No. Rich, the guy that eventually went to Garden City Hotel. He opened the Crescent Beach Club. Richard Allen,
Oh yeah.
crazy
Okay.
man.
Yeah.
They build the whole place. They hire him. He decides the equipment's no good. He has them rip out every stove, everything out of the kitchen, throw it in the loading dock, and fill it with Jade Range. And they do it. They do it. I don't know why. They do it. He was so off the wall. I couldn't handle it. I lasted like maybe a week. And I went to his office. I was like, yeah, it's not going to be for me. We talk about it. I mean, I knew him years later, and he's a great guy. But Crescent Beach Club. I was there the
Beautiful
first
place.
week before.
Crazy,
beautiful.
but
Wasn't
best
Rich
best
League there,
sunset
too?
on Long Island, hands down.
Hands down.
Wasn't Rich League there?
Rich League was there when I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, Richie's
Talented-
great. Yeah,
talented
yeah.
guy.
Oh, yeah.
Carvings?
The hands, yeah.
Yeah,
You see what he does with
great.
the pumpkins, right?
Yeah.
Insane.
Forget about it. The king. So I got to get him on the show. Didn't you ask me about him, Dominic? Richie League. Is it League or League?
League. L-E-A.
League, I think.
Yeah, I would never pronounce it right. I'm afraid to say people's names I don't know the brother. I say brother. Hey, brother.
Hey, well,
That's a good.
What's
That's
up,
that's the safety.
So you bounce around here and there, and you start working for Michael.
So took a little bit of a break from cooking for a bit.
Really,
Yeah, about 6 months or so.
you weren't sure if it was going to be for you.
No, I knew I loved cooking. I knew I wanted to cook, but
can I just say the quote?
yeah.
Because I'm like, you're out of school 6 months. You just won the national championship. What are you doing? Get a fucking job.
You got to get a job.
And he says, I'm not making chicken cutlet palm in an Italian restaurant the rest of my life.
I hear you.
I'm like, I got
there's a
jobs
battle
for you.
there.
I got a job. I'll help you. I'll get you a job.
Uh-huh.
I'll find my own job. He didn't want my help. Didn't want my help.
I respect that.
Then he met Michael. Go ahead, right?
Yeah, so it took a little bit of time off. Knew I wanted cooking, but my last job was just I was burnt out. I was like a zombie. They was just grinding me to like a nut.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take a break for like a little bit. I just need to catch my breath. So randomly enough, the chef that I was working for, his father had a hardware store, and I was like, I don't know shit about hardware. So like, people would come in like, I need a 8mm metric stainless.
You were working in a hardware store.
I was just trying to sell shit. I had no idea what I was doing. Thank
Wow.
God they were helpful to me. But I moved around a lot of ice melt for a little while, and I was like, I miss cooking.
You miss it, right?
So at the time there was Cochon, the heritage pork kind of competition circuit. I don't know if you're familiar. So there was one down in Philadelphia, and my chef friend and I said, let's go down. We'll volunteer, just kind
Just
of
work.
get our feet wet. Yeah.
Right.
So I went down. I'm just like, whatever you guys need, I'm here. And Michael from Hudson Valley Foie Gras was there, and they were doing like a kind of semi-sponsored for one of the dinners.
Okay.
So they said, Lenny, go help Michael get organized. I said, no problem. So we're chatting.
You
Whatever.
didn't even know who he was at that point.
Didn't know who he was. I toured Hudson Valley Foie Gras back in
So
college.
you had known what Hudson Valley
I
Foie
had
Gras
known,
was.
I had known, but like didn't even make the connection until
connection.
he says, I'm one of
This
the
is what
original
I am.
founders.
Right.
Yeah. And I was like, shit.
Wow.
So then he's like, where are you from? I'm like, Long Island. He's like, Long Island? Have you been to my restaurant? I'm like, no, where? He's like, Great Neck. I'm like, I don't even know where Great Neck is.
Right.
So
Can't park too good in Great Neck.
no, you can't. You can't do
do
much
much.
too good in Great Neck. So he says, come for dinner. I want you to be my guest. I said, amazing. So like a week goes by. We come back from Philadelphia. We go there, and I sit down, have an amazing meal. Him and I just like clicked right away.
Right off the
It was
bat.
very, very unique friendship. And he's like, you want to work here? I was like, yes. So I gave my professional courtesy to the hardware store, transitioned over.
They were okay with that,
Back
right?
to they were cool. They knew I wasn't too good, so
They were
I think
probably happy for
I
you.
think they were happy for themselves. They were relieved because they didn't want to fire me, but they were like, this
People
is-
rely on I'll tell you right now. When I go to my hardware store, these guys they mold my
know
life.
their shit.
So that's
Yeah,
what
I'm
happened.
not
I
kidding.
did not expect it. People would come in with like a part from their toilet and be like, "Can you identify this and get me?" I'm like, I don't know what
I have
looking at.
never left my hardware store without what I went there for, and it could be anything. It could be anything.
There's not too many little ones left.
It's a talk. Yeah, Ace Hardware. Yeah, the best one.
Yeah, having good people. So this hardware store in particular is no longer around, but it was on Bell Boulevard in Bayside.
Okay.
And it was unbelievable. The service you got there, everybody
no
was so
parking.
knowledgeable. Definitely no parking, but yeah. So went to LOLA, started working there, and then it just became like
Now, right away, you were involved in the farm, or that took time?
no. So I was hired to work at LOLA Garmager.
Garmager.
So I was doing salads and pastry,
Right.
and then over time worked my way up, and then it came into a situation where Michael and I were friendly. We wanted to travel, do some events together, and he had said, "Listen, I think you can run the restaurant. Do you want to do it?" And I said, 100%. And he
Wow.
says, "Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do like 8 months. I'm going to beat the shit out of you every day and give you a crash course on all things. We're going to travel. We're going to eat. You're going to learn everything that I know as fast as you can.
Wow.
And it was like every day we would get up, we'd either go to a market or we would travel somewhere. We would eat at restaurants, eat things I was never exposed to. I wasn't overly familiar with Mediterranean cuisine,
Right.
and particularly Israeli food.
Right.
And from there, he like handed me a stack of cookbooks, and I just started going through it, and then picking it up piece by
You
piece.
read a lot
and,
too, right? You're a reader.
Yeah, I like to read.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
to read sometimes.
When I met you, you turned me on to the modernist. Was it modernist
Modernist
cuisine?
cuisine, sure.
Yeah. Crazy
Yep.
book.
Amazing book.
You told me I had to have it, so I went and got it.
It is. It's got to be in
You
everyone's
told me I went and
collection.
got it. Got
Definitely.
ruined it, but I had to buy another one.
Oh god.
I had a leak in my office.
Oh, that
That
hurts. Not
That
cheap.
hurts.
Not a cheap book.
Not a cheap book. No books are cheap. No,
No,
books
not
are
today.
cheap.
Not today.
I have the original Pro Chef. It's this big from
Yeah.
Culinary Institute. Now it's this big.
I know it's insane.
I had the blue one.
Original.
The original. Well, it wasn't even original. It was many more before that.
Yeah.
So, if people don't understand, what foie gras. This is not from it traditionally would be from a goose.
Sure.
You guys get them from ducks.
Yeah. So goose are not really prominent in the U.S. They're relatively dirty animals.
Is that the reason why we don't use it from geese?
Yeah.
They're disgusting. We have them
Yeah,
at Crest
yeah.
Hollow.
Yes.
They're out in the parking lot all day long.
Exactly.
Big turds.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
pencils.
Messy.
I wasn't
It's
gonna say it, but yeah.
Like a
It's all
pencil.
over.
This is two of these come out of one duck?
No.
Just
So,
one.
Yeah. So this is your pinnacle grade A. This is fresh harvested, and
How big is this duck? Because that's
so-
giant.
yeah. So the ducks grow pretty significantly. They're on an aggressive feeding schedule, and this liver is about a kilo,
Wow.
or a football, as we like
Wow,
to say.
like about a football, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is one of the most sought after things in the whole world.
Correct.
This, truffles, all
Caviar,
beautiful things. Caviar.
right up there in the same the
I
god
like
tier.
fried chicken I like caviar with fried chicken.
Me too.
You do that, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, you know what's up. You watch Instagram.
Or chicken wings stuffed with foie gras. I'll get you that too.
Chicken wing stuffed with foie. How do we do that? We take the bones out?
Yes.
Is that at Lola?
No.
Do
no,
we
no,
have
no.
that?
No. We don't have the labor for that, but
We don't. Yeah. No one
It's
has
a good
labor for
concept,
that. We can
yeah.
do it at the crib. Make like 10.
at home.
Yeah,
Exactly.
make like 10.
A dozen. That's it.
So, is there a law in New York against this? No, they were trying to get a law,
Yeah. So there was.
but it never happened, right?
They were trying to pass a law specifically in New York City, but there's a lot of.
People just want to get involved in stuff that they have no business in getting involved.
Yeah,
in. It's like straws. Why
we're-
can't we just have a straw?
Plastic straws.
We're a very small farm in comparison to we like to call it big pork or big chicken.
Right.
And we're in an elitist kind of thing. People think we're tailored to the rich. It's an expensive product, although our duck is accessible. The foie
The
gras is a
duck
little
is
more
accessible.
exclusive.
Yeah, we eat it all the
And
time.
we're low-hanging fruit for PETA to come and give us a headache.
But this the PETA got. It's not even PETA. Is that what it is? So PETA comes after. Is that what it is?
Yeah, they're the driving force. For
They're the
sure.
driving
There's
force.
always independents as well, but
And it's because of the way you have to feed it. That's their problem.
yeah,
Because we harvest food all day long everywhere.
yeah. So
But
if
it's
you
the way you have
look
to feed it.
if you look at the mortality rate of our production versus, like I said, big chick.
It's not even close. It's not even close. Now, you ever read Dan Barber's book? You know Dan Barber?
Sure.
Yeah, Blue Hill. You
yeah.
read that book?
Are you talking about the foie gras natural fed?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you read about that?
Yeah.
So that's possible, huh?
No.
No way, right?
No.
It's fucking bullshit. No. I knew that.
Show me one.
Dominic,
nobody.
I knew that.
Nobody has produced one, and if it is possible, that book. How many years ago did that whole story come out?
It's been a while.
So
since
where-
that book
where is
came
it now?
out. It's not here
Why is it not here?
because it doesn't exist. There's 3 ducks in some.
Yes.
There's 3 ducks somewhere in Spain that got really fat off acorns.
And somebody was tossing acorns, and they happened to get fat. Great story. But
About 3
no,
ducks.
no, it's not. It's
not
not
gonna
feasible.
Stick to pigs. Stick to pigs.
Exactly.
That's good pig.
Yeah.
That's a good pig over there.
Absolutely.
So you're doing a lot of molecular gastronomy still, or no? That came because I don't see too much out there anymore.
Yeah. So I think that's morphed, and for the better. I think we had a boom, particularly right when I was
Good
like
for
most
TV.
great for TV,
Yeah.
right? Everybody loved watching the liquid nitrogen get
Pour
poured all
your
over
giant
the.
container of liquid nitrogen.
Exactly.
Gloves on and the
Always a good
mask and you
entertainment
Couldn't
value.
even carry it on,
Yeah.
on a normal kitchen line. Where are you going to move?
No. You spill that on somebody, you're in big trouble.
You're dick to ass with about 3 different guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you got liquid nitrogen in your
Yeah.
hand.
But I think what came out of that whole movement and what's most exciting is that now people have modified that to use it in tasteful ways. It was getting to the point where everything was like a noodle and a foam, and like you didn't know what your food was anymore. It was like a
Kooky, yeah.
version. Yeah, it was getting a little crazy.
Like me and your father come from a different world. We like fancy food, but
Yeah.
I like to know what I'm looking at.
But I think when you look at the improvements made to cooking techniques, I mean particularly sous vide.
So explain to us, us knuckleheads that don't exactly know what sous vide means,
Yeah.
that we only seen it on TV.
So it's basically an immersion circulator. So you kind of have two stages. It's how you treat your product.
So very low temperature.
Doesn't necessarily have to
It
be.
doesn't have to be.
Doesn't have to be. So you have your protein, let's say, and we know it's a science. So if you want to get 134 degrees, we'll give you like a nice medium piece of protein consistently
The whole way through.
the whole way through. Now, for us, using that on something like when you want to roast a whole duck,
Uh-huh.
have you ever been able to get perfect legs and a perfect breast?
I always cook it in 2 pieces.
You have to take it apart, or
Always.
you have to make the sacrifice and say, what am I going to do? Am I going to undercook these legs and then cut them
Save
out
the
and try to
breast,
heat
yeah.
them to save the breast? Like, you can't.
It's
right?
like Sophie's Choice.
And it's your typical
He doesn't know Sophie's Choice.
I
You know
don't.
Sophie's.
But it's your
a
typical
movie.
Thanksgiving turkey scenario where there's always a little part of the bird that suffers. Now you can get it pretty good if you're really careful and you baby it all day.
If you can only cook one, right?
But precision is key to really getting the most consistent results.
Okay.
And I think when you look at sous vide, you have the 2 parts. It's how you handle your protein. So if I want to take something like a piece of salmon and I want to put something in that has herbs with volatile oils and so on, I pack that under vacuum. So now I've got resistance, surface tension.
Right now, it's already working itself in
It's getting
there.
sucked in, exactly.
Right.
And I want to cook that to its most delicate temperature. What do I have a couple of options. I set a sous vide at a very mild temperature and I gently poach it, and all those aromatics and volatile oils absorb into the meat, and I come out with the most perfect flaky piece of fish every single time.
Right.
Or I pop it in my jade range that's 14 years old that says it's 425, but it might actually be like 700 degrees.
Right.
And I pray to God that in 8 minutes it comes out and it's okay.
Right.
And if I forget about it for a second, I'm in big trouble. That style of cooking will never yield you consistent results. And in a restaurant, I want to be able to give a piece of chicken breast that's the same every time.
And
I want to give a
consistency
piece
is
of
everything in a
exactly.
restaurant.
And then moving on, for us, we like to do a lot of stuff a la minute, and having raw protein all over the line sucks.
Bad.
I don't want my guy trying to grab a piece of fish, throw it on the grill, move over, he's gonna cheat.
Right.
So now we have everything. It's consistent. It's either poached, it's prepared. You can have whatever you need, fully cooked, and then you finish it.
You're
Whether
gonna
that's
fit.
basting
Whether it's a
or
grill or whatever.
Kiss it on the grill. You get your flavor. You have your
Right.
consistent interior, and out it goes.
And it's the real way to make. Now, how many of these machines are you working with in a production kitchen like that?
So at LOLA, we don't use it that much.
Okay.
We have one small machine
Right,
and a bath periodically. But you got to do a Sunday brunch, and you need 80 poached eggs.
Right.
I'm setting the machine. I'm putting in 80 eggs in their shell, and I get an order. I need a Benedict. I just crack the shell, and the immediate, perfectly poached egg comes
I've
out.
seen
Kidding.
it.
You
I've
seen it?
I
Yeah,
couldn't believe it.
I'm not gonna stand there and start swirling the water and drop the egg in. Not happening.
You wouldn't believe what I have to do to make poached eggs for a catering event. It's insane. Yeah.
Again, it's the precision. And now with like the really nice Rationale ovens, what people do is you get the 2-ounce souffle cups, and you put your egg in there, and you can poach in this.
So in like one of these combi ovens, you could get this done.
100%.
What about the Alto Sham combis? Does it have to be Rational?
I'm not too first on those, but I
See,
would
I only
imagine.
buy American,
Right.
Yeah,
young
yeah.
man. I'm only kidding. I know Rationale's awesome.
But yeah, if you got to make 400 poached eggs,
Yeah.
you get them set up on trays, pop in the Rationale, you're done.
And you just rock and roll. Wow, that's pretty cool. I never thought of that.
Yep.
So, this restaurant is heavily using like these products, or not really, because you're doing like this.
Not too much. So this.
You said Israeli, Middle
Mediterranean.
Eastern.
So when I had first had that meal, that introductory meal with Michael at LOLA, it was more of a fine dining tasting menu,
Right.
upscale restaurant. And once I took over as chef under Michael, we kind of like looked and said, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, like I think we're just like missing opportunity. We're in Great Neck, we're not in Tribeca. Like there's only so many people that are gonna go out and have an expensive meal to celebrate a birthday or celebrate an anniversary. And we wanted to build like a bar scene. We wanted to have regulars. We didn't have that.
Right.
So we said, you know what? Why don't we close the restaurant 2-3 weeks, revamp the menu, and just come back and just change the whole concept.
Blow them out.
And that's what we did. And we took really, Michael's home Israeli food, his comfort food,
'Cause
elevated
that's his thing,
some.
right? That's where his family's
That's
from.
his
That's
origin,
his heritage.
sure. So obviously we expanded on that. So we went kind of more global Mediterranean, some Turkish, Lebanese, so on and so forth.
Right, like Persian food, like Iranian food
Sure,
too, like
sure.
that.
All grabbing
wa-
influence.
you
There's a lot
use-
of overlap.
You
so.
use a lot of social media. You do something like you watch Instagram.
Yeah, I love Instagram.
Have you seen the guy with the Todd? How do I pronounce it? But Todd, how do you say Tadding or Tahin? So they're taking I guess they're making this rice in a very one level, and then they're making tacos out of it. Have you seen this?
No.
So how do you say TAHDIG? How do you pronounce that? Tadig, Tahi, Tad.
Tidy? I don't know.
How do you-
This is the vessel or is the rice?
The rice itself, the crispy
Yeah,
rice with
yeah,
the bottom. It transfers
butcher
as
it.
bottom of the pot.
Yes, exactly. I
Right.
know what you're talking about.
So there's a company there's a food truck in San Diego. Check it out on Instagram. It's that word taco. So it's that word tadi taco.
And they're using the crispy rice.
So they're making this rice like one level, right? So it's not like a big pot of it.
Sure.
So it's mostly just the crispy part. They cut it somehow, and then gourmet zabzi, and they give you a taco and all these different
love it.
ingredients. It's insane.
That's cool.
It's really cool.
That's
yeah.
cool.
See, that's what I like about
Yeah.
social media. That's
Yeah.
that's the hole I get in. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And I may never eat that thing, but I'll talk to you about it today. You know what I mean? And maybe one day I'll come
try
across it. You never know.
Exactly,
You never
exactly.
know. You use a lot of you're looking at Instagram, you're looking at TikTok.
Yeah. I would say I use it as much as I can, and I like it for the food side of things. I don't like it for personal side of things. I feel like it creates a headspace that doesn't always make me feel super happy.
Right.
It's like a comparison contest, and
Well, there's a lot of that's what Facebook could be like that
Yeah,
because
so-
people don't need a reason to do it. They can just talk on Facebook.
Exactly.
At least
And-
Instagram, you need to put a picture of something.
And for me, I literally couldn't be more fortunate. I mean, I have an amazing job. I have an amazing career. I get to travel. I work with incredible chefs that I never thought I would cook next to.
Right.
And I feel braggy when I'm posting. Look who I'm with. Look what I'm doing. Look
get
how
it.
much cooler this is.
I
So I'm
know.
always at this cross.
Drives me crazy.
It's a humble man, your son.
Can I just say, in the last week, you were in Hawaii for a benefit for Michael.
Yes.
Came back, went to Cipriani to do autism.
Yep.
Wow.
Then did a special
Jacques
Jacques
Pepin
Pepin
Gala.
Your
at,
sous
at
chef,
Chelsea.
that kid, I follow him on Instagram. He puts stuff up.
Yeah.
What's his name?
So I have sous chef is Greg, and then my chef de cuisine is Jose.
Yeah, maybe Greg. I
Greg, you
follow
probably
him.
know,
I
yeah.
follow him on
Yep,
Instagram.
yep.
Yeah, he puts stuff up.
Yeah.
He took
Right
Greg,
from the
he took
autism
Greg to
thing.
Hawaii last week with him.
And autism.
Yeah, he
and
put both
autism.
of them up on the gram. Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw that. Yeah, nice.
Then he was
kid.
at Chelsea Piers with some of my old people.
Exactly.
Same week.
Yeah. Jacques
And
Pepin,
what else?
Daniel
He did
Boulud,
something
it
else.
was
All
heavy
within
hitter
a
list.
week.
Alon Shaya, Esther Choi.
Now, how is it? I don't if everybody doesn't know, this gentleman Michael that we keep talking about was this driving force in our life, and unfortunately had a horrible accident and died from a heart attack during an Ironman swim.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is the guy. This is not his first Ironman.
No, so it sucked.
You just don't know, right, brother? I mean, I train every day in the gym. I try and keep my body strong. And I see guys. There was a guy that was in there every day, and then I heard, "Oh yeah, Tony had a heart attack at his kid's wedding." You know what I mean? You just don't know, right?
Nope.
You got to live it out.
Yeah.
And
And
Michael lived it out.
for sure. Listen, he had an incredible life. He
didn't leave it on the
He
table.
did more in a week than most people do in their lifetime.
Right
And
on.
it was a shock because for me, obviously he was literally my best friend. We talked every single day. We worked at the restaurant. We traveled. We were in Hawaii for 3 weeks leading up to the week before he was there. He officiated my wedding the month before.
A month before. Yeah.
Very, very influential in my life and my career.
He officiated your wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
He had to get that thing online. I wanted to do that.
yeah.
I told him
He's,
at Crest Hollow, I'll marry him with the chef clothes on.
Exactly.
It'll be
Great
a
idea.
fucking gimmick.
Yeah.
It might work.
100%.
not?
Somebody will do it.
I have no time.
And for me, it was just like the first time that it was like, have a great race. Call me after, and
Right.
that's the last message.
And that's it.
it's
He's
just
a married guy?
So he was married, and they were separated. So he was
But
a long time
Are you
girlfriend.
close to his family here? I know they don't live here in New York.
So his family and I now, with my heavy involvement with Hudson
Right.
Valley, work together every day. They're incredible people.
wow.
So yeah.
Wow. That's a big thing, man. That's really cool. Like, a lot of guys would just be like, you know what? Fuck this, man. What am I going to do? You know, this guy's gone. How am I going to handle all this?
There was a moment of panic, but
You ate it up, though. You ate it up.
I just knew that I had a great relationship with Michael's family, and I knew the direction that we want to move with the company and where it's heading. And I said, you know what, we're gonna throw everything at it and just come out stronger on the
Anything
other
new coming
side.
out for Lola? You're still going to be sticking with the program? With Israeli? Are there any ideas of something new over there?
So Lola, as it stands in Great Neck, I think we're gonna do a menu change, a little bit of upgrade. We've got
Right.
some new art in the dining room. We're just kind of giving us a little refresh.
yeah.
And we always have one ear to the ground to see if another property arises. I would love to
Right.
expand that empire a bit.
Yeah, get out of that town. Town's the worst.
So
I don't want to get John. I don't want. You don't have to. You don't have to agree with me.
I
I can never park there when I go there.
So here's the thing. There's very, very little community support.
Yeah.
However, we happen to have a good chunk of it.
Right.
And the surrounding towns are so good to us. So in our run there, I mean, like I was chatting with Erica Marcus the other day, and she was like, "Just tell me again, like, why the hell are you here?" And
She loves you. You know that,
yeah,
right?
she's amazing.
She
Amazing.
writes about that Lenny boy. She loves
Thank
it,
you.
man.
She's
a great
amazing
girl, man.
person.
Yeah, great girl.
But for us, Great Neck's always gonna hold us back a tiny bit. And like I said, Greg, great guy. Jill, trained pastry chef. Jose went to Delhi with me, so he has my knowledge. So like, I have a kitchen filled with chefs, which I think is like one of the most unique identifiers.
Very rare, yeah.
Very rare.
Very
They
rare.
all have been with me. We navigated the pandemic together. We went through Michael's death together. So like, we're bonded for life. So I feel now I'm at the point in my career where I want to take on a mentorship role and do what Michael did for me, and I hope I'm ready. I don't know if you're ever ready, but
How old are you now?
32.
Yeah, you're young, man. But that's where we all started. You know what I mean? At 30, in my 30s, that's where I started taking people under my wing and doing
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, but
He did more by the time he's 25 than I did in my whole career.
It's true.
Traveling in
It's
Israel
true,
and
right?
Iceland and
I was so scared to like, I went to the CIA. They were like, okay, you're going to do your internship. I could have went anywhere in the world. I was like, I'm going to go work at John's Beach. Because I wanted to stay home. I was fucking lazy, I guess. I don't know what it was. You know what I mean? I didn't have that push. I regret it now. You know what I mean? So I admire when I look at people like you, man. Really cool, man.
I appreciate it.
Really
Thank you.
cool.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So, so this was a good show today. Father and son. Really good shit. Listen, I really appreciate you guys coming to spend time with me.
the most important thing.
We're going to open up the Bishkat.
Yes. Don't worry about
Baba,
the
you got
foie
coffee?
gras and the torchon and the
We're going to have fun.
truffles.
We're going to have fun at work tomorrow, young man. I'll tell you that.
Have some biscotti.
We made
'Cause
this
he's-
today?
Yes, I did. I said I was going to bring you a little box, and I pick him up, and he's got a bigger box. Just, yeah.
What are you going to do?
I know.
Cookie, gentlemen?
No, we're good. We're good.
I'm not going to say no to hazelnut biscotti.
You can't say no to this.
We appreciate you having us.
No, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. This is going to be the
Thank
best
you.
one. As long as you
I
share
know.
it enough for me, okay?
Got you.
We'll share it.
Listen, you've been watching the Go Crying to Walk In podcast. I'm Chef Cholo. You already know. Like, subscribe. Thank you.
Thank you, Chef.